In this video, we'll be going over all the recent construction update at Universal Epic Universe for the month of October 2024. In today's update, we will start in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. On this corner facade, a new sign with cats on it has been added. Above that, we can see some poles sticking out from the building. These will eventually hold another sign and the Eiffel Tower as seen in the concept art. Next to this corner is a narrow street that is being worked on. The bottom section now has steps and they are preparing for concrete to be poured in front of it. On the corner of this blue building is a wand shop called Cosme Acajor. We can see into the windows, however no displays have been added yet. The facade for Bar Moonshine has been painted green and has some decorative elements that were recently added. There are also signs above that in English, because this is the bar that has an Americana theme to it. The signs say pumpkin juice, giggle water, and butterbeer. The theater show called Le Cirque or Canoe has recently had a new red covering draped over it. The first layer that is now underneath can still be seen in this section next to the building. This is the entrance to that attraction. A butterbeer cart has arrived in the streets of Paris with the French word beurre au beurre written on it, which is the French word for butterbeer. In front of the cafe, some new trees have been planted. Poles for street lighting have also been installed. We can now see inside the windows of this building. They're currently working on the window display. Eyeballs have been added to the Oculus Regulus facade. The roof on the extended queue is being finished. This is for the main attraction, Battle at the Ministry. Here's a look at the facades inside the inner courtyard. There's some words and also a goblet on the wall. This is a side that has the restaurant called Le Goblet Noir. Dark witches and wizards gather here and enjoy hearty meals to escape the prying eyes of the Paris Ministry of Magic. Some lighting was recently added to the walls at the entrance to the Wizarding World Ministry of Magic. The entrance to the main attraction is here. The metal poles have been painted green. The sign for the Metro Flu will be placed in the center of this awning. Next to it, we can see steps that lead off into a smaller area. I wonder if this will be for guests to explore or if it will be roped off and for employees only. Under the Can-Can Globe are 3 new signs. They say comedy, book your tickets now, and music. On our last update, we spotted the Phoenix statue on the ground outside the Wizarding World. Now the Phoenix has been installed on the Phoenix Arch. Some animals can be seen on each side of the Phoenix, as well as some other decorative designs on the archway. Trees have been planted in the concrete circle at the portal to the world. It also looks like the medallion of the Time Turner has been installed on top of the portal arch. It's partially covered so we can only see some of it. At the back of the narrow street at the top is the Sacré-Cœur structure, which has been placed on the tower. Look at the intricate designs they created to make it look like the real one. It looks really beautiful. Another sign has been added above the word hotel. The sign is in French and in English it says the Sleepy Griffin. Trees were also added to the square at the end of the street. Now let's go see what's happening at Super Nintendo World. A red facade now covers the 1-Up factory. This will be the main retail shop inside Super Nintendo World. And mushroom and brown blocks have been installed above it. At Bowser's Castle, they continue to add the covering to create Bowser's head. A panel is on the ground, and we can see another panel actively being lifted up to a worker. And here the panel for Bowser's eye socket has been attached. We can now see the entrance of the elevator, and above that is Shy Guy. He was recently added, and it looks like he will move back and forth. The bricks that were recently sculpted at the archways are now being painted yellow. The center of the courtyard at the meet and greet location is a red facade that was added with some gold coins on top. Plus, this Parada plant is also a new addition to the meet and greet location. The brick wall has been painted different colors. This is at the end of the steps from Princess Peach's castle. In Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong's treehouse has begun to be themed. It now has a banner above the entrance that says Kong. The walls are green and it also has 2 posts on the sides of the entrance that look a little like a badminton birdie. This will be a meet and greet location. Next to Donkey Kong's treehouse is the bubbly barrel. It will be a snack stand. They have almost completely installed all the panels that are themed to look like a wooden barrel. On our last update, we saw the back of Dixie Kong, and now we can see the front of her. It appears she will wave to guests as they turn to go up the first lift hill. Palm trees have been added to the entrance arch. This is where guests will enter to ride Minecart Madness. Behind the archway, we can see a golden monkey. Funky's Flying By gift shop has all the panels installed. Now it's covered in scaffolding as they put the finishing touches on it. On our last update, we saw the holes in the pavement of the queue. Most recently, these poles were placed inside the holes to create the stanchions for the queue. The background for Minecart Madness ride is this jungle. Even more trees were added since the last time we saw it. This hides the back of house from guests. Scaffolding is now covering the wall that divides Donkey Kong Country from Super Mario Land. They are painting the wall, plus work continues on the rock work that will theme the exit of the land. Scaffolding still surrounds the waterfall at the top of the attraction. It's been painted with some lighter yellow tones. The head on top is no longer all gold, but has some light yellow in spots as well. Back in Super Mario Land, we come to Mario Motors. This is the exit gift shop for the Mario Kart ride. Scaffolding surrounds it as they work to theme the entrance with a brick pattern. Princess Peach's castle now has its main spire installed on top. It's not finished yet. They are continuing to work on the castle. On our last update, there was no brick pattern on the outside, but they have made some great progress as now the front is covered in a brick pattern. On our last update, the piranha plant was last seen off to the side of the key challenge. But now the piranha plant has been installed. The flooring is now covered in a black material. This is the area where guests will hit the alarm clocks to stop the piranha plant from waking up. The concrete circle at the portal entrance is being created. We can see a star shape in the center where it hasn't been filled yet. Staged off to the side are some tall steel, possibly for the warp pipes on the top of the portal. The tallest warp pipe is still missing its covering, which will be green according to the concept art. Here's Yoshi's Adventure Ride. Work is being done on the exit warp pipe of the indoor scene, and here's how the entrance warp pipe is looking. The final scene has a few more things added to it, such as the blown up baby Yoshi. Also, this gray gate was recently added for the service spur of the ride, where they take the Yoshi cars for maintenance. Now let's go over to Dark Universe. The Burning Blade Tavern is one of the restaurants in the Dark Universe. Here they will serve burgers, bratwursts, wings, and pretzels. This structure was recently added near the entrance. Most likely this will be the menu sign when it's all done. The landscaping looks like it could be finished. A pathway can be seen over here. It's next to the outdoor seating area. Several posts have been added around the section of track for the Curse of the Werewolf. In the flyover of the world, these poles appear to be holding netting with a cool lighting effect. Some rocky spires can be seen over here along with a fence with metal poles. More metal poles can also be seen over on this side of the coaster. A gate is over here blocking the path around the roller coaster. It also has more of those theme posts around the fenced-off area. At the entrance cemetery to the Dark Universe, we can see this broken casket that looks to be finished. We saw this months ago when it was just an unthemed wood board. More landscaping has been done around the graves. This is the exit for the Dark Universe. They've been doing some landscaping around the path. A wall has been built. It looks like a gate will be constructed. The wall hasn't been themed yet. Here's the main attraction to the world. Scaffolding surrounds the center of the manor as they work to theme it. On our last update, the tower was added and a turret was staged on the ground. However, now the turrets have been installed. They are working to put the finishing touches on it. The uncovered portion of the manor has vines that have been painted black and are growing up the building. At the top of the same building are cracks to add to the aged look of the manor. Adventuring with Annie caught them testing the lights on the tower. In the village of Darkmoor is this bell tower. Broken shutters were recently added. Here is the other restaurant called Das Steakhouse. A structure has also been added outside its doors, just like the one we saw at the Burning Blade Tavern. Most likely this will be for the restaurant's menu board. It looks like a screen has already been installed. The well is at the center of Darkmoor Village. They recently added 3 decorative pillars on the top of the well. This will eventually have a red fog-like effect coming out of it to add to the ambience of the world. Now let's go over to How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Underneath the Dragon House mountain, work is being done on this door frame. A green and yellow dragon head was added to the top. Tall poles were recently added around the ride Dragon Racers Rally. A red dragon's head can be seen poking out of its dragon house. The dragon is facing the track, so guests riding Hiccup's Wing gliders will see it as they pass by. Near the entrance to the theater attraction, 2 dragon houses have been installed on top of these towers. Theming is in progress on this wall, covered in scaffolding. This is a service canal where the boats will go when not in use. Prep work has begun for a concrete port at the outdoor eating area for Spitfire Grill. Some walls have been created and they have posts sticking out of them. By the fire drill attraction, workers are building a fence that goes around the attraction. Here's a good look at some other dragons in the boat attraction. One looks like it's breathing fire. What looks like the twins Rough Nut and Tough Nut can be seen in 2 different barrels with a cannon sticking out of it. They will probably give guests one last chance to get soaked. They are seen at the end of the ride. Dragon houses have been added to the wooden pole at the entrance to Fire Drill. The 2-headed dragon was also added to this little building on the other side of the entrance to Fire Drill. Tents have been added to the metal frames over the queue for Fire Drill. Grog and Gruel is a snack stand. Its location is in between Viking Training Camp and Dragon Racers Rally. They recently added concrete in front of it for plants and trees. Here's the top of the Haddock Paddock. This is a meet and greet location to see Toothless and Hiccup. At Hiccup's Wing Gliders, the framing over the queue area is being prepared for tents. Work is being done to landscape the area around the queue. Scaffolding surrounds the rock work as they theme it. Tents have been added behind the entrance to Hiccup's Wing Gliders. At the portal, more concrete has been poured in front of the concrete walls for the How to Train Your Dragon entrance. Spitfire Grill's facade has been painted brown. The wall shows a dragon breathing fire. At the theater attraction, the Untrainable Dragon, some theming has been added to the wall above the exit doors. The exit gift shop is the building next to it. It now has a dragon's head on it. Here's the entrance to the Untrainable Dragon. The wall has been themed with uneven wood beams. The Viking Training Camp is a kids' play area where they can learn more about dragons. A lot more has been added to the structures. The start of a bridge now connects these 2 structures. On the other side, more bridges can be seen connecting these structures. 2 pillars with dragon heads have been placed on the end of this area. The village plaza was recently covered in concrete. This center area will be where the water fountain will go. It will be the centerpiece for the village. It will look like the dragon feeding station that was seen in the second movie. They also built concrete forms to create the walls for the walkway into Mead Hall, which is the main restaurant for the world. The bay was filled with water, and we can see the ripples in it. Having the floor of the bay painted blue really makes the water look like the ocean. Now, let's go see how construction is coming along at Celestial Park, the heart of Epic Universe. Before entering Epic Universe is this building for sales and admission. The roof recently had some work done on it. Next to Atlantic Restaurant is a walking path that now has some steps. The walkway has been completed up to this point where the worker is standing. At the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian Restaurant, the walkway is being constructed as well. We can see some steps being formed. The water feature now has been colored blue. The pillars are being themed at the awning structure. Even more walkways are being created at this cascading water feature. 2 small bridges can be seen here. Adventuring with Annie caught the Kronos moving. The story of the Kronos is that when the dials and cogs are aligned, it draws power from the universe. It's what gives power to this world. It's this power that opens the worlds to allow guests to travel to other worlds. Adventuring with Annie also caught them testing the lights on the Kronos. Inside the Kronos portal, they have finished work on the first concrete section, and now they're working to prepare the other half for the next concrete pour. At the water feature by Constellation Carousel, it's now filled with water, so we can get a good look of how it will look when it's all finished. They removed the walls that were hiding the inside of Constellation Carousel. We can't see much inside, but it does look like there's scaffolding. Perhaps they're adding the design details to the ceiling. On the perimeter of the water feature is this berm that they've been working on for a while now. It's been created from dense foam blocks. A new round structure has been built by the pathway that leads to the entrance to the park. Glass installation has started at this dome, which is part of the retail shops by the Kronos. Underneath the dome is what looks like a possible water feature. Here's a fountain over by the Super Nintendo World store. It now has a Mario figure on top. The Meteor Astropub is another restaurant inside Celestial Park. The colorful concrete circle is in progress. The exterior walls are being covered with a brick pattern. It will eventually cover the entire building. It has already been added to the other side that faces a portal to the Wizarding World. Scaffolding now surrounds the outside of this pair of restaurants. This was the last restaurant to be built in Celestial Park, but work seems to be moving rapidly. Concrete walls have been created for the landscaping in front of the building. Next to the Super Nintendo World Store is the Pizza Moon restaurant. This sign is a new addition. We can see a moon with a pizza on its eye. It makes me think of the lyrics to the song That's Amore by Dean Martin. The splash pad called Astronomica now has all of its concrete colored to look like a compass rose. At Stardust Racers, a boom lift is over the sign for the attraction as they continue to theme it. A gate can now be seen at the extended queue for the attraction. In the middle of the extended queue is a pathway for the back of house area. The walls now have gates to block the pathway from park guests. Some new train cars have arrived for Stardust Racers. The pavement for the extended queue appears to be finished. They have started to add some trees. Some theming can be seen on this wall just outside the extended queue. At the entrance arch, vines were added on our last update, and now the vines have been flowering. Some light poles were recently added to the outside of the load station for Stardust Racers. Just as we saw with Meteor Astropub, there will also be a brick theming on the outside of the load station. It can be seen on the upper level of the load station. A brick pattern is also on the walls and the pillars outside the attraction. Adventuring with Annie also got video of them testing the lighting on the train cars. The story is that the Celestians have learned how to use the comets and ride them across the night sky. The track itself will not have exterior lighting, only the train cars will be lit to make it look like a shooting comet. Some string of lights have been added to this tree just outside Stardust Racers. This is a great vantage point to see how the Helios Grand Hotel aligns with the Kronos Tower. On the other side of the big dome is a cartouche, and it's supposed to align perfectly with the Kronos Tower. In front of the Helios Grand Hotel, they are working on the walkways surrounding the hotel. A few bridges can be seen going over the water features. We can see the cartouche in this photo of them testing the lights at night. On our last update, we saw the dome of the pool bar staged on the ground. It's now been installed on the roof of the Lotus Lagoon Bar. More pathways are in progress on this side of the pool. Over here we have a few concrete forms which I believe could be for more cabanas. In the flyover for the hotel, I think these are the cabanas that will be in this location. There are already 10 cabanas on the other side of the pool. At the Stella Nova Resort, the stripes are being painted a darker color in the pool area. I started making this video last week before Hurricane Milton hit Florida, but BioReconstruct has already gotten a few images of the park after the hurricane, so I figured I would add how Epic Universe looks now. Fortunately, it appears that not much was damaged. It's mostly just some muddy areas and accumulated rain in the water features from Hurricane Milton. Before the hurricane, they were filled with clear water, as we saw earlier in the video. Here's how the water feature in front of the Atlantic restaurant looked right after. Some of the scaffolding around it was removed. They've already begun to clean up the water feature. Here at the entrance, some dirt spilled out of this area that has not yet been fully landscaped. The American flag was on top of the Kronos Tower, but was removed for the hurricane. Over in the Dark Universe, the manor was covered in scaffolding before the storm, but some of the platforms were removed in preparation for the storm. And now they are starting to add them back. At the Curse of the Werewolf, a purple canopy was installed over the track before the storm. Some rainwater has been deposited on it. Under the canopy will be this scene with lanterns. A tree was pushed over by the wind in the queue for the Curse of the Werewolf. Surprisingly, most of the trees in the park seem to be okay and haven't been uprooted. I was worried that there would be more, especially since these are young trees. Platforms and scrims were also removed around the Comet at Stardust Racers for Hurricane Milton preparation. The water feature we saw painted blue at the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian restaurant is now muddy. Work continues as they have started to create the concrete circle on the other side of the Kronos. Super Nintendo World looks the same. It seems to have weathered the storm just fine. There's even already a new themed element at the portal in Donkey Kong Country. The bay at How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk was filled with muddy water. Here is a few days after that. They've already cleaned most of it up. Here's how some of the other water features looked after the storm. Here's the Luna Overlook, and here's a water feature in front of the Helios Grand Hotel. Also, the scaffolding was removed inside the Constellation Carousel, and we can see the beautiful blue floor inside. Well, that's it for our construction update for Epic Universe. It's all thanks to my Reconstruct that we can follow along and watch a brand new theme park being built before our eyes. If you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell to be notified of new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.